Yes, they are, Marty. They're built way different. Not just built way different than the rest of the league right now, but they are built way differently than they have been in a very long time.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking about the Suns. The Phoenix Suns segment is finally here.
Let's go.
Let's
go, boys.
I don't think there's been a team as good as Phoenix that has been talked about less.
Yeah, I mean, there was a time there. We've been overshadowed by Utah a little bit. There was a little time there, like into January, where we were getting some steam, but it's definitely like cooled off, especially for a team that's been as bad as we have for so long. I mean, 10 years without doing really anything, and now we're basically a runaway 2 seed. It's nuts.
You have the second best record in basketball.
Yeah,
and it's just like
it's dumb.
nobody's acknowledging it. Just no one's talking about it. No team has been slept on more. Just quietly going from not being in the playoffs for a long time, going then like having a little bit of noise, going 8-0 in the bubble, and now just 3.5 games behind the Jazz and just not a peep.
Yep.
I didn't even talk about it because I was like, man, maybe I'm too early. The only reason this segment is here is because Washington Post put out an article yesterday. This thing's been written. This thing's been written for weeks.
Yeah.
And I saw Washington Post was like, oh, the Suns are surging. How far can they go? And I was like, it's time.
Yeah.
There's someone else talking about the Suns.
Now we have to go. Yeah.
Now I'm going to go. It's time. Tell me when to go. So if you would have asked someone, Marty, where, besides yourself, where the Suns were going to be at the end of this year, last year, we'll say even in the bubble when they were in the bubble surging, what would you have said?
So before Chris Paul?
Ooh, I'll give you right at the Chris Paul trade.
Okay, right at the Chris Paul trade, I think what most people were thinking was, oh, they're
6 seed.
Yeah. They'll be fun now. They'll be like okay, like what he did with OKC last year. That's about
first round.
What they'll be. They'll finally break the playoff curse or whatever. But no, I don't think anyone thought we were going to be an elite team.
No, I guarantee you, nobody was like, this is going to be the second best basketball record. This is going to be the second best record in basketball.
Yeah.
No. I mean, I am a Chris Paul enthusiast.
Mm-hmm.
Love me some Chris Paul. And I was like, man, this team could really make some noise in the first round. I was like, they might be able to have a puncher's chance against a 2 seed as like a 7 seed.
Yeah.
Like basically like what OKC did last year.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Maybe come out of the first round. But
yeah, that was the first thing I convinced myself of. It's been a gradual allowing myself to believe how good this team is. Here's
a stat for you. Since the bubble began, this is insane. Since the bubble began, the Suns have won 75% of their games.
Yeah.
That is that is so impressive. The lack of praise actually is somewhat slanderous.
A little bit. It's weird.
It's just... And I was saying this to a friend the other day, like if I was a Suns fan or a Suns player, that would be just how I would want it, baby. No attention. Just don't talk about us at all. No one expect us to do a damn thing. Just keep us off the jump. Keep the spotlight off of us, the heat off of us. And so we have no expectations. And then we're going to come into the playoffs and go, pow, pow, pow. That's what.
Yeah, love it.
That's what you think, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is a team that I think could very much benefit from bulletin board material. I mean, Chris Paul reads everything that's ever written about him. He's motivated. He is the type of player that can use that to motivate the rest of the team. Devin Booker, just, he remembers all the slight and shit that he's gotten his entire career. I just want to make sure I say in this segment how excited I am to watch Devin Booker play playoff basketball and watch him just go toe to toe with somebody in a series. Like, he's been waiting for that. And his game is just built perfectly for the playoffs too. Like, I can't fucking wait to watch Devin Booker in a playoff series.
And this team, this roster, and we'll go into it, is built for, it's so impressive what they're doing. When you peel back the onion on this roster construction, you're like, oh, they've got a plan, baby. Let's look for a second at why they've been so fucking good this year. Second highest winning percentage in the NBA is 71%.
Yeah.
Second highest in point differential. 10th in points per game. But even though that's not that good, they're second in field goal percentage. So obviously not a great rebounding team. 13th in three-pointers, but 8th in three-point percentage.
Yeah, that sounds right. 2nd
in assists.
Definitely.
6th best in turnover percentage. 5th in defensive rating.
Yep.
10th in opponents' points in the paint. 46 field goal percentage. 5th best offense and 7th best defense. This is the most complete team in basketball.
It's hard to argue for another team right now. Yeah.
They hold opponents. This is actually very, very impressive and very going to be very important in the playoffs. They hold opponents to 11 three-pointers per game, and that's second best in the NBA. Mm-hmm. Opponents only shoot 32% from three. Oh, boy.
Yeah, close out Kings.
Close out Kings. And you know what? They've been getting better all year. Just the momentum is surging. This is a Suns filleting. This is what we're doing.
Oh, yeah.
This is what we're doing. Since February 5th, the Suns are 23-5, and their average victory margin is 13 points. Just smacking fools.
Yep.
Just smacking fools. And then their average margin of loss, 4 points. And that includes an 11-point loss. They are either killing people or in every game.
Yeah, just about. We haven't been steamrolled by anybody, really. There was a Pelicans game earlier in the year, but ever since then, yeah.
That one game against the Pacers. That was actually, that one game was the reason we didn't do that segment then.
Yeah,
so I was like, Karis LeVert, oh no. They're number 1 in the NBA against the spread.
Yeah.
A gambling's boon at 32-16. And keep in mind, that's with the Jazz going 21 straight against the spread.
Mm-hmm.
And you know who that all starts with, Marty? James Jones.
My guy.
You know James Jones, folks. He might win NBA Executive of the Year. He's got to be top in the running right now.
I think so. I mean, we mentioned him, Sean Marks, maybe Kupchak, actually, the more I thought about it, but nah, it's Jones.
And Kupchak, what moves?
That was a stretch. I mean, the Gordon Hayward signing, drafting LaMelo.
Yeah.
But it's still a stretch. It's James Jones.
It's got to be James Jones because you're talking about, and this is like I don't think necessarily the fruits of your labor as an executive come 1 year in. So this is a multi-year, this is like you plant seeds and then 3 years later you win Executive of the Year. So he's been planting seeds for a little while now, but you're talking about a perennial lottery team, a team that was a joke, as you would say, Jokeville, which I have adopted into my lexicon, and turned them around in fucking 2 years' time.
Yep.
2 years' time, they're the second best team in the NBA.
Yeah. Completely changed the culture.
Just completely changed the culture. And you know why? I think you can say he deserves Executive of the Year is because that's him. Like, it's literally the personality type of James Jones injected into an entire organization. And on top of that, has somehow gotten the Sarvers to just go away.
Yeah.
The ownership is just nowhere to be found, and they have had their fingerprints all over that roster, all over that team, and he has found a way to say, you know what, I got this. James Jones, a fucking winner.
Champ. They call him Champ.
Champ. Folks who are casual might remember James Jones from his time in the Miami Heat organization.
Yeah, and the Cavs.
And the Cavs. He is like a LeBron.
He was one of those guys.
He was one of those LeBron James, like Mike Miller types, but better.
Mm-hmm.
Corner three. He has made, when he was a player, he made the playoffs in 12 of 13 seasons. Everywhere he went, he was just winning.
Yeah.
Never had a losing record as a player.
He was on some of the Nash Suns teams, too. He started for us in big games. Yeah.
He was nasty. Incredibly well-liked, respected everywhere he goes. Like, he's just one of the nicest guys.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You almost forgot when he went and became an executive, I was like, he doesn't have any more juice left in the legs? Like, I'd like to still see him play right now.
Yeah, he was kind of like our guy Corey. He didn't take a whole lot of time in between
He went from the bench to the bench.
Yeah.
Basically.
Right, yeah.
He inherited a 19-63 Suns team. Second worst in the NBA. Youngest team. And he said, you know what? I think it's time, even though I'm a nice guy, to make some hard decisions.
Yeah.
He fired, how do I pronounce his name?
Igor Kokoshkov.
Yes. Yeah. So he fired Igor and somehow, some way convinced Monty Williams to come to the Suns when Monty Williams had an offer to be the LA Lakers head coach. Can you imagine?
It's bizarre.
Somehow convinced the Sarvers to pay Monty Williams the bag when Monty Williams would have been coaching LeBron James, and somehow Monty Williams said yes.
It really is crazy when you look back that he made that call.
He managed to turn Trevor Ariza into Kelly Oubre and Ricky Rubio, and then swapped them for Chris Paul.
Yeah. And one of the moves that is underappreciated. So first off, when he got the job after we had the second worst record in the league, we got that was the Zion lottery that we just got fucked in.
You got 6, which would turn into Jared Culver, who was fucking trash.
Yeah, but he moved that pick
for 11.
For 11. Yeah, and Dario Saric, who has been awesome this year. Dario Saric is the unsung hero of this Suns team, and Cam Johnson, who he's had some questionable stretches this year, but he's been really good at times. Like that trade, he doesn't get enough credit for.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody was complaining that the Suns didn't do enough at the trade deadline, but also another underrated move was Torrey Craig for cash considerations.
He's been awesome.
He has been so good. Torrey Craig in games in his per 100 possession numbers are 20.4 points per game, 12.5 rebounds per game, 3.5 assists per game, 1.7 steals per game, and 0.9 blocks per game. So he's not playing a lot of minutes, but oh my God, if he was.
Oh yeah, he's loud. They're loud minutes. Yeah.
They are loud minutes. They already have as many wins right now as they had all year last year. They went 16-21 in games within 5 points in the last 5 minutes last year, and right now they're 14-11. That is the Chris Paul effect. The best team in the league. They don't always play great all game, but they just lock down late. That's what they do. Sometimes they don't look great in first 2-3 quarters, and then all of a sudden the fourth quarter comes around and they just turn it on.
Yeah. They also, they've been letting people back in, but then still pulling it out. So,
correct.
Which you'd rather them not let teams back in it, but the fact that they can still get it together and pull it out shows.
Yeah, it's a game of runs.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, you're playing against other NBA caliber players. Guys shoot, they get hot, as you know. You know, that happens. And then the other thing that nobody's talking about is just how deep they are. They are incredibly deep, which, as you know, doesn't matter a ton for the playoffs. But what it does right now is save Chris Paul so that he's fresh.
Yeah.
And your 7-man rotation is as healthy or as fresh as they possibly can. Chris Paul right now only has to play 30 minutes a game.
Right.
31 minutes a game. I think there is not a team more suited. I know, I'm mushing you. I'm sorry. I know you're probably kind of scared. There is no team in the West more suited to go to the finals as an underrated team. I mean, obviously it's like Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets, but this Suns team, if I was a betting woman, which I am, in terms of finals appearance, this team could go to the finals.
Yeah, no, I convinced myself that nothing's impossible for this team probably about a month ago. It was a very scary realization after the 10 years I've had as a fan, but we could win it. We could win it.
You could.
It's possible.
It is possible.
It's not 0%.
The only issue is the only team I see you stacking up really poorly against is the Lakers.
Yeah.
That's it. Because DeAndre Ayton doesn't eat. He doesn't eat food.
No, and if he has to guard Anthony Davis all game,
Or Andre Drummond has 50 pounds on him.
It's true.
Montrezl Harrell will eat DeAndre Ayton for lunch. Montrezl Harrell is a man. Montrezl Harrell is 2 inches shorter and probably 30 pounds heavier.
Yeah.
He's just the DeAndre Ayton as your center and Frank Kaminsky as your backup. You would have really benefited from someone like LaMarcus Aldridge.
Yeah, no, I was surprised that we didn't try to make a run at either of those two guys, because how I would attack the Suns is there's certain games where, Frank Kaminsky is one of our backup bigs, and he's great against certain teams, but when he plays against a physical center, he becomes really hard to play and put out there. So if I'm an opposing coach,
go right at Ayton and get him in foul trouble, and then Kaminsky, and then you eat him.
Yeah, and just cook.
Just cook.
So there is an avenue to beating us.
That is the Lakers.
There is, right.
So hopefully you don't see them until the Western Conference Finals, and maybe they're hobbled. You never know. Maybe, Andre Drummond still is battling that toe issue. Maybe Montrezl Harrell gets in foul trouble. I don't know. But depending on who and when they play them, this Suns team could go all the way. Thanks for listening and watching this league on YouTube. If you like this content, please hit the subscribe button right here. More content will come your way straight to your feed. Thanks for watching.